And this is why I've always respected Jimmy Butler. Say what you will about locker room presence.
Sure.
Say what you will about whether or not, how
the Bulls ended.
I don't care about that. You know what Jimmy Butler does? He competes. And in a game one where you get embarrassed and the two perimeter guys go out there and dominate, right? You got, maybe the best perimeter guy, right? In Kawhi, like obviously you have Dame Lillard, you have, Steph Curry, you got KD.
Gotcha.
But I'm
He's
saying
in the conversation.
He's in the conversation. And you got Pascal Siakam, one of the, young, up and coming, rising, quiet stars in this league. And they just dominated him. But what did he do? He showed up with 30, 11, and 5. Mm-hmm. And they played great defense, held him to 36% from the field. That's what I need. That's playoff basketball.
So, I know you remember game 1 against the Nets when Jimmy had 36 points. And it was like, ooh, this is Jimmy, playoffs is here.
Yeah.
And then there's been a little dip in production since then. And with Embiid having his stomach problems and, and Ben Simmons, we know who he is. And Tobias Harris hasn't really asserted himself. I feel like Jimmy was like, you know what? They need me tonight. And it was kind of a must-win game.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, we talk about the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic, and they are better when he's aggressive.
Yes.
I firmly believe offensively, it is all about Jimmy Butler, and it's all about Joel Embiid. If it ain't Joel Embiid getting the ball on the post.
It wasn't Joel Embiid last night.
No, but I'm saying if it's not him getting the ball on the post, their second focus needs to be Jimmy Butler, right? And then I think next it's JJ Redick because of the confusion that he causes on the court and the ability to shoot threes. Then I think after that is Tobias Harris. And that's part of the reason why they're so good. Like, tell me how many teams that have a fourth option like Tobias Harris.
Well, also, it feels like they have, it doesn't really play out this way. It feels like they have 4 players that could lead the team in scoring.
Yes.
And there's not another team in the playoffs right now where that's the case.
No.
Maybe you could say the Warriors, but that's 3 players. But it's like, they have 4 players that could legitimately lead the team in scoring. Can that be a bad thing? Is it like, hey, we've got our guy? If you're the Raptors, it's like, we've got Kawhi Leonard. He's our guy. And we know what we are.
No, because then you live and die by that one guy. Now, it's okay if they're great, like KD, like Kawhi.
Sure.
That's okay. But think about the options if someone's having an off night. If someone's got a flu bug like Joel Embiid, but you got Jimmy Butler, it's like, all right, I got it tonight. I'm going to go 30. Even when Embiid was out and we saw Ben Simmons in the first round just go crazy, go and have 30 points against the Nets in game, I want to say it was game 3.
In Brooklyn.
And in Brooklyn, it was game 3. So you look at that and you're like, no, to have those options and to have different ways that you're able to play, that's just a compliment.
Brett Brown did a good job last night of sort of managing the rotations and everything. He spoke about Jimmy Butler after the game, and let's also listen to him speak about it and Jimmy's response.
This was James Butler. Like, that was the adult in the gym.
Coach came in here and he said, this wasn't Jimmy Butler tonight, it was James Butler because how mature
My name isn't James. It literally is Jimmy.
My name isn't James. It literally is Jimmy.
It literally is Jimmy.
So it makes me wonder, is Jimmy on his birth certificate?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, it's on his birth certificate. You know what? Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
That's
get my name right.
Yeah,
say what you want, but just get my name right.
Say my name.
Yeah.
Say my name. Say my name. But no, I think that's funny. But that is true. Like, what Coach was basically trying to say is that was some grown man-ish right
because
there.
he has some young players. Like, he's got young stars, and it was like, you know what? This is what you get from a veteran in a back against the wall game.
So I remember my, Eddie Jordan, former coach of the Wizards, former Laker player, one of my assistant coaches. Like, we'd be like 2 minutes into a game, and he'd be like, yo, I need a man's rebound. And then it's like, you're like, what's a man's rebound? Then in video, he'd be like, you see this ball right here? There's 30 seconds to go in this game. If we get this rebound, there's 5 people trying to go. The person that comes down with it, that's the man right there.
That's the man.
That's
rebound.
the man.
Going up and getting
Go
it.
get that. I need a rebound. I need someone to go in there and get a man's rebound. And Jimmy played a man's game.
He did.
Right? Just aggressive.
Stuff that didn't show up in the stat sheet and everything. But the Celtics, the Sixers were ahead. They were playing well. It sort of felt, especially in the first half, at the end of the first half, it was like, okay, this is going to be their bounce back game. But the Raptors crept back in, and that crowd got into it. And at the end of the game, they had a key possession, down by 3. Let's watch what happens. Watch very closely to Kyle here, and there's like, oh, they lost the ball, but they didn't. This scrambling leads to a wide open Danny Green 3. Danny Green, not a great night. And then they eventually secure the ball, get fouled, and finish out the game. But just let's watch this again. Did he?
No, he did not. No.
Did he?
No.
He didn't, right? He didn't, right?
No, he didn't.
He didn't
didn't.
try to go
No.
between his defender's legs in a key possession, going to the basket when you're down by 3. That didn't happen,
That was
right?
purely accidental.
Thank you, because that's what I felt like.
And
But the
listen-
internet, I'm looking at the internet, I'm like, wait, maybe he did?
No.
The staff of this show thinks he meant to do it.
Let's say this. At the end of the day, have we ever seen Kyle Lowry with that type of sexy in his game?
He's got a lot of game, but not a lot of
sexy.
sexy.
Not a lot of sexy.
That's fair.
Now,
if he's never done it before on a basketball court, he wouldn't try to do it then.
If that was Kyrie or Chris Paul.
Or Drew League.
Or,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Or the Rucker.
Not with a minute to go down by 3
A minute,
in
it's
the
like the
post.
last possession of the game.
No.
Okay, I'm glad you solved that mystery for us here on
that's not
Jalen Jacoby. Well, the Philly bench, as I mentioned before, like Brett Brown tried some new things. Greg Monroe, who has played for, I believe, all 4 teams left in the Eastern Conference playoffs, had himself a game. Greg Monroe had trouble finishing in the Nets series, but not last night. I mean, he didn't put up huge numbers, but look at these plays. He's doing stuff. That's Kawhi and Marc Gasol he's splitting to get that bucket. What do you think about his response?
I think this is what the postseason is about. This is why I love the postseason, right? Like, you watch guys like this. He hasn't really been a rotation guy. Didn't really play, but they look at the size. When you look at, Marc Gasol, when you look at Pascal Siakam, when you look at Serge Ibaka, all of these guys, there's some size. So, hey, let me try and get some minutes, especially if, we can conserve on Joel Embiid if he's not feeling well.
Amir Johnson played last night.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you want to do. You want, like, if you're expecting a long run, there's this fine balance between I need my horses and I don't want to wear my horses down.
Yep.
Right? Like, this is a 7-game series, or if we're going to go to the conference finals, if this is what we believe, then I got to find these minutes here and there to give other guys contributions, because what you don't want is you don't want to just play 7 guys and win this series, go into the next series only playing 7, then have somebody go down in game 3 or game 2 and need somebody to step up and play. Giving 5-10 minutes here and there will keep players engaged, will keep them focused.